Are you looking for a new whiskey adventure? Then climb in and buckle up. Get ready for one hell of a ride on the Whiskey Trip podcast with your host, Big Chief. Join in as he and his guests explore whiskey and dive into whiskey stories from around the world. Now here's your host, Big Chief.
Hey, it's old Big Chief, and yeah, you're taking another ride on a whiskey trip. And as you can see behind me, we got a picturesque view of Lake Louisville, and we're in the Colony near Dallas-Fort Worth area. It is a destination, kind of, when I was a kid, I thought it was the rich and the famous. I also thought JR from Dallas lived up here in the Colony. But I'm sitting down with these two jokers I got with me, and we're in, I got to say, it's the best bourbon bar in Dallas-Fort Worth, not only for their whiskey selection here, but also for this amazing view. When you put the two together in the sunset here, it'll just blow your mind. So I got the owners here. I got Rob and Amy Jones with me. We're sitting in your restaurant. We had dinner here last night. Thank you for taking a ride on a whiskey trip, my friends.
Yeah, great for you to have us. I appreciate it.
Now, I got hooked up with you two, and mainly Amy. You guys somebody did a TikTok video when they came here, and it went viral.
Did.
I saw that TikTok video, and I was like, I told my wife, I was like, check this place out. It's up in Dallas-Fort Worth. And we've been up here so many times and went to different bourbon bars and stuff. And some will have pieces that I like. I'm like, okay, I like that. I like this. I like that. But nobody has put it all together. And then I see your guys' TikTok video, and I'm like, I think this place has everything I want in a bourbon bar.
We love that.
And I hit you up, and lo and behold, you hit me back and was like, call my husband up, and you two need to chat. And me and Rob chatted. It took me a little over a year to get up here and do a show with you guys, but I made this trip, and we come up here last night. We ate a steak, had some cocktails here. I had a Texas mule, which is most people call it Kentucky mule, but here in Texas, you know it's Texas. We name everything Texas. And then had some dessert and just looked at this amazing view behind us, a great sunset last night. So what made you two want to start a restaurant? Because you're not restaurateurs, right? This is not your livelihoods.
Oh, no, we're not.
We met waiting tables. So I waited tables at Papacito's in Austin in undergrad. And then when I left, I came back to go to graduate school. But before I did, I had a few months off, and Carrabba's was right up the street. And I ended up getting a job in Carrabba's. And when I walked in, it was everybody I had waited tables with at Papacito's. So I got the job pretty quick, but I hadn't met her yet. And then she walked in a couple weeks later. She's working at 2 or 3 restaurants. And we've pretty much been together ever since. And that was in 1995. And
did he try to woo you? You caught his eye the first time you walked in, it sounded like.
Well, funny story about that. We were working at the second Carrabba's, I believe, that Johnny Carrabba had created. So he had not sold out yet to Outback. And we were at the bread station, and I probably sliced 5,000 breads before, he came along. And he came up to me, and he was like, let me help you with that. And it was an electric bread cutter. Okay.
Yeah.
So I told him, I said, you're kind of like an annoying little brother. You're always underfoot. And he was like, that wasn't what I was going for.
Now, come on. This ain't Kentucky. We're not marrying our brother.
Exactly.
Oh, my God. Well, we do got some whiskey in our glass, and you let me peruse your whiskey shelf bar downstairs. And I look at everything, and I'm like, man, you got a great selection down there. A lot of Whistle Pigs. I noticed you got some Willet Purple Tops down there. Mm-hmm. Stuff that people just like really crave after. A bunch of E.H. Taylors. I noticed you got some Angel Envy Cast Strength. And I'm kind of thinking, what I do for a show in Texas? Well, a Texan's going to want some Texas whiskey. And yes, I got a Kentucky bourbon up here on the table, and that's our first pour. It's an Old Forester, but it's King Ranch edition. And what they do is they use charcoal filter from the mesquite tree. Now, 70% of the mesquite trees are in the state of Texas here. And it's called the Devil's Thorn. If you get one in your your thumb, or finger, you're gonna know
Oh, yeah.
what I'm talking about. It'll make you super sick. It'll make you. It's almost like eating mushrooms, except for you're gonna get real sick and it almost kill you. But we got this ain't gonna kill me though. I know. Have you had this before, Rob?
This one I have not. I have not tried every whiskey in the restaurant.
No.
No.
He's tried to try every whiskey in the restaurant.
Has he? Well, King Ranch is a famous ranch here in South Texas. Used to be one of the biggest ranches. It's really made up of 4 ranches, and they produce everything from cotton to vegetables to fruit to cattle. You name it, they're growing it down there. Sugar cane. They're really diversified, and they're really diversified into all different markets, whether it be from whiskey to pickups, you name it. They got that brand on everything.
Yeah.
Well, I say let's try this thing. Beautiful nose on this while Rob's sipping it. I get that almost a Texas funk on it, right? And that's from that mesquite charcoal. But I would think that charcoal probably filters out a little bit. Probably gives it a nice rich spice. It's got that nuttiness of the Old Forester with it, maybe a little bit of that mesquite, a little bit of spice on the tongue. What do you get?
Yeah, the spice is what really stands out on this one to me.
Really? Yeah, that it's a rye whiskey, rye bourbon. The secondary grain would be rye. So, what made you two say, okay, we're going to open up a scratch kitchen whiskey house?
That's a fun story.
Well, we were looking for a place for a while. I'd been threatening her that we were going to open a restaurant. They stopped believing me at some point. And then I had a group. We were looking for the right spot. And this place was on our list for a long time. But it was only showing the inside. And everybody remembers it as Stan's Draft House. The building's been here since 2000 at least. And it was kind of a dive bar. So I didn't see anything here that looked off the page that would be interesting to us. And then one day we finally decided to come by and have lunch here. And I walked around the back and saw the lake view, and I was just blown away. I was like, well, I didn't know this was back here, A. B, why isn't this place one of the most popular spots in Dallas? It's beautiful. So that's when we decided we're going to do this one. And it really worked out because the way the building looks, it looks like a rack house. It's an old warehouse-looking a view. And so you're trying to figure out, okay, how do we really brand this effectively? And everybody loves whiskey, and we want to build a place where people like to hang out, and what brings people together more than bourbon? So,
well, food and bourbon together.
Food, too.
Yeah. And you say this why isn't this the most popular place in Dallas-Fort Worth? But Amy was telling me at one point in the 60s, it quite possibly was a really popular place in Dallas to come to.
I think it was maybe infamous. So lore has it in the mid 1960s. This house, there was a house on the property, and this is prior to really the city of the colony existing. And the house hosted lively parties, lots of friends, lots of ladies, and lots of alcohol. And
A house of ill repute.
It might have been.
And I read something that said it was known as the house of the setting or rising sun, but this would really have probably been the house of the setting sun.
That's right. And I think the city, once it started getting established, was very annoyed by the ongoings in the late evenings. And so at some point, legend has it that there was a raid. The owner of the house was put in prison and was there for a couple years. And when he came back, he decided to get back at the city, and he painted the house purple.
Now, a purple house, and you guys are right on Main Street, right?
Right, that's right.
That would be annoying to have a big old giant purple house right on Main Street.
Yeah, so we decided recently, actually, we would pay homage to that story, and we do have a cocktail called the Purple Tartlet.
So you paid tribute to the purple house.
Yes. And the ladies that might have been there.
And I'm sure if you drank too many of those, it could kind of take you back to that.
You might go down memory lane.
So there's a spirit around here of a party, you know. It's been going on for a long time.
Well, last night we come in, it's Friday night, and it is jam-packed up in here. I mean, I was shocked. I was like, look how many people are here right now. It is, you guys are jamming out. And you had live music going on here, the kind of music I love. It's just kind of toned down, bluesy. It just kind of set that right feeling. The music's not too loud where you can still have a conversation with the guest you're with. We could sit right there in the main dining room and we talked to you guys about how you guys came up with this concept of the Rackhouse. And, I can't say enough about last night and the experience here. And everything that was in that TikTok video came true.
I love that. So
what we're going for, because we met in Austin, and that's kind of where we learned the restaurant business, is it's a vibe that you're trying to establish. You want to feel a certain way when you're here, and the look of it, the feel of it, the music that's played, just everything kind of matches and has to fit, and that's what we want people to be relaxed here. We don't want it to be too hyped up or too crazy. I mean, you're looking at a great view, you're going to be relaxed, and that's what you should be doing.
Well, that ain't no doubt. Now, some people are probably saying, why is it called the Colony? Well, there's a guy named Peter Colony back in the 1840s, and as you heard on another podcast, those land grants were given to people from outside of Texas to entice them to come to Texas. So you would have to come there and establish a homestead for yourself, and you get the land that goes with that. And that's who founded the colony up here, Peter Colony, in the 1840s. From about 1845, the beginning, when that was last year, Texas was a state. Last year it was a nation by itself, and then it became the state of Texas as we know it today. And they did those land grants right up into 1849. There's a lot of people still coming to Texas, and they were trying to entice people because it was a wilderness here.
Yeah.
So what a beautiful view you guys got. I just can't say enough. Now, how did you guys craft your menu to kind of showcase whiskey?
So we had a bunch of, we had to sit up in this room actually and put everything up on the screen and go through a group session of what do we want it to be, what are the main things that we want to put on the menu, and everybody voted and put it out, and then we had to add everything that has like our bourbon bread pudding, our pot roast. We brine that in bourbon, so everything's kind of got, not all of it, but what we can, we add little hints and touches of whiskey to it.
Well, we have the Jameson Irish chicken that I like on pasta, and that's one of our favorite dishes too. Mm-hmm. Getting that Irish whiskey in here.
Yeah, I mean, I went through the menu last night, perused it, and then when we got back to our hotel last night, I went through it again, and I was like, I just kind of want to dig in a little bit and see what there is and stuff. One of the things that I should have had last night, you guys are kind of trying out some prime steak, right? Prime beef, and Rob made it sound delicious, but there was a lady sitting next to me at another table, and I couldn't keep from looking at her plate. And what I'm talking about here in the state of Texas, one of the things the state of Texas is known for is chicken fried steaks. And it's been a long time since I've seen a chicken fried steak that covered a whole plate. But that's the only thing that was on her plate was that chicken fried steak.
Yeah, it's big.
It is like, I'm so happy that you put a quintessential Texan item on there.
Yeah, and we had to add the jalapeno cream gravy because that just makes it extra Texan with the spice in the gravy. It kind of adds to it. It
wasn't like it's almost, the gravy looked like it was a mixture between like a regular white gravy you would have on a chicken fried steak and a holiday sauce almost mixed together. Is that kind of right?
It's got a lot of flavor to it. It's got a lot of peppers in there, and chilies, jalapenos. I'll tell you what, it's definitely a crowd favorite, and I think it got even more popular earlier this year. Real good customer called the Dallas Observer and said, listen, you need to get in here and try this chicken fried steak. It's really good. And lucky for us, Nick Reynolds, a food editor and writer for the Dallas Observer, came in. He tried it, and he wrote an article on it. And not only did he write one article on it, but they have a monthly best things we ate in the month of. And so we were one of the best things that the food critics at the Observer ate in February. So it really took off, and that dish is very popular.
There's actually in Texas Monthly, there's a yearly list of best chicken fried steaks. And if anybody from Texas Monthly is listening to my podcast, you need to get your butt up here to the Colony and come to the Rackhouse and put this chicken fried steak on that list.
Well, that's the goal,
and
too.
I haven't even tasted it yet. It just, it almost took me back. There was my hometown of Evant, Texas, there used to be a cafe there called the Cowpoke Cafe, and my sister worked there, and their chicken fried steaks were the same size as that, golden, crispy brown and stuff. And what we're talking about, some listeners out there probably don't know what a chicken fried steak is. They're probably thinking it's chicken. And around the rest of the country, they call it country fried steak, but you only get this little hockey puck of a frozen crap.
That's not a chicken fried steak.
No. What is it?
Well, I'll tell you what, I had a friend that a few years ago, he moved from New Jersey, and I took him somewhere, and I said, you need to have a chicken fried steak, and he didn't know what to do with it. They'd never heard of that before, so that was fun.
It'll make you feel like home is what it makes me feel like. When I get to go to a place like that, and I seen that, and I was like, okay, there's another reason for me to come back here. Let's talk a little bit about crafting your whiskey selection here. How do you go about, making sure that you have the right whiskeys on the shelf? Because you could have a lot of people saying, hey, put this on your shelf or put that on your shelf. But at the end of the day, you have to sell that. And that's what comes down to the bottom dollar.
So when we first opened, we overdid it. We had too many whiskeys. I think we had probably 250 on the shelf, and a lot of those, they're going to sit there a long time. You don't sell everything, so you kind of figure out what's working, what's not. We built relationships with different distilleries that they bring in stuff that they want us to try, and we try to see if it's working. You have your old standbys and ones that people really like, and then you find new stuff that they might not be able to find it somewhere, and we try to price everything at a level that we're, if there's a really popular whiskey that's really hard to get and we have it, we're not going to really throw the big promote on it. We're going to want you to go try that, and we can be a place that, hey, if you want to buy that bottle, you want to try before you do, you can come here if we have it.
Well, some people might say, hey, why are you doing a restaurant, Big Chief? Why are you going to a whiskey bar and trying different whiskeys? That's the exact point right there, is I want to showcase a place that you can go for a fair price to try that pour before you spend maybe allocated money on a bottle. So last night, you guys said, hey, have you tried the Eagle Rare 12-year? I had, a couple episodes ago, you saw me try that, but I was super sick that day, and I didn't get the best experience out of that whiskey. Even though I could give some notes, it was a struggle for me. And last night, you guys were like, you want to try it again? And I was like, yeah. And I thought the pour would have been somewhere in the $50 to $75 range for that pour. Because even though it's a $50 bottle, and that's what Sazerac wants, they want the blue-collar guy or gal to be able to experience that. It's going to be up there in that $50 pour some places. But you guys sell that here for $20 a pour.
That's right.
That's what I'm talking about right there. $20 for that instead of spending, I've seen that on the allocated or on the secondary market for $800 a bottle already. And I'm just wondering who pays for that? Well, some people do. But before you pay for that bottle that you got to have, come to the Rackhouse in Dallas-Fort Worth up here at the Colony and try that. And then eat some amazing food and watch the sunset. Now, you guys, how often do you come up here as owners?
Oh, we're here. We don't run it. That would be, we were smart enough to realize we needed experts that knew how to run the restaurant business. I mean, being a waiter doesn't mean you know how to run a restaurant. So we have a very qualified staff, but we're up here a lot with friends, and we have meetings, once every week, and just make sure everybody's being taken care of. But we're up here at least 2 or 3 times a week.
I mean, I'm sure it's a love of your life right now.
Oh, yeah.
Your kids are graduated from college. They're out of the house.
Yeah.
You want to make sure this baby goes right.
Yeah, this was always the dream. So, and we didn't do it to do one restaurant. We want to do a bunch, and we want it to be kind of a cool thing that expands. And to do that, we have to really dial in the service and the food and make sure people enjoy it here.
I would love to see one in Houston, one in Austin, and one in San Antonio. The big 4 cities
Right.
of Texas to have a Rackhouse like this, a whiskey destination for not only travelers to come to, because travelers will get on a plane that come into Dallas-Fort Worth. They're like, man, what do I do? Where do I take that Uber to? Where do I take my rental car to? Well, this is a place right here. We're not that far from DFW Airport,
No.
right? Great hotels up here in the colony, safe place to stay. If you're in the DFW area, it's definitely worth a night out and spend that per diem, that travel money that your company's giving you. You might as well spend it on a place like this, and you know who the owners are right here.
There you go.
There you go.
They're not multi-billionaires, just a couple that had a dream and trying to make that dream come true.
That's right.
Did I hit that right?
No, that's right. And I think that the best thing about the Rackhouse is there's little nooks and crannies all around the restaurant that create spaces where you can enjoy your friends and family. And that's what bourbon is built around, the Americana of the family and the story and the history. And we've got it here.
So before we go to the half, I'm going to ask you both some quick fire questions. Favorite cocktail on your menu?
Smash that bourbon.
Smash that bourbon. What's
That's
that made
the
of?
most popular. You don't put me on the spot. I
Rob
knew
just
you were
knows
going to.
it-
I was just waiting for this.
Rob just knows it tastes good.
I think you had 1792 in there, and you smashed berries.
You had it
in there.
last night. Yeah. How was it?
My wife had it.
Oh, yeah.
And I sipped a little bit of it. She loved it, though. She was talking about that. She was like, that, man, their cocktail list is – it fit perfect because we didn't have to, sit in there and think about, do we drink – most people just go for that old-fashioned, right?
Right.
Because they don't know anything else. But your cocktail list actually had it named out and what it was in it, and it made you think about it. I had the Texas Mule, the Take on the Kentucky Mule, and I really loved it. What about what's your favorite cocktail on the list?
Well, I do the non-alcoholic mocktails. I don't know, because whenever I've had a mocktail here, the bartenders just kind of know what I like, and they just make me something, so I wouldn't even know what to tell you. And they can do that. If you just tell them what you like, they'll make you something custom.
Well, let me ask you this. What's the best-selling cocktail here?
Spicy Paloma or Smash That Bourbon.
Those are the two.
Those are the two probably most popular. But our cocktail menu is always evolving. It's changed multiple times in the past year. So anytime you come out, you can try something new.
Amy's last sip of bourbon or whiskey, and it's a bourbon. By law, it's a bourbon. But she had a sip of Gentleman Jack at Jack Daniel's on the tour.
Yeah.
And she said it was pretty good.
Well, now I haven't drank in 30 years, so that was the only alcohol I've had. So I'm sure it probably was pretty good to me. I'm not a connoisseur, but I thought it was good. And in the history of Tennessee whiskey, I know something about it now.
All right. So one last question before we go to break. Favorite dish on your menu?
I was really, when we opened this, I had the hamburger has to be dialed in. So we went on a big tour of all the bakeries because to me, the bun, if you don't have a good bun on a burger, it's not going to be a good burger because we get the meat right. And so to me, the burger's it. And then it had to be, for me, the burger had to be right.
Amy, what about you? What's your favorite thing on the menu?
I have a toss-up, so I'm going to go with two, but either the shrimp stuffed avocado, which I had last night, or the blackened chicken Rackhouse salad.
Okay.
She's healthier than I am.
You probably thought that because I had steamed vegetables last night and a salad with my steak. And I really wanted the chicken fried steak and mashed potatoes with it and green beans. That's
Well, I know what you're having for lunch today.
That's right.
Quintessential right there. Yeah, you talk about those things, on the menu and stuff. We're going to get into some other things on the menu on the second half, just to kind of show that and some other cocktails on your list that I think people need to know about. But if you had one thing to redo here, and I said that was the last question, but one thing you could redo, like right now, it wouldn't cost you anything. You just had that chance to do it over again. What would you do?
From a menu standpoint,
or
or
anything about the restaurant?
I would have put a roof on this patio right here first, which I'm going to do. It's just, we didn't think about it at the time.
That's, for me, hands down, the kitchen needs to be bigger. We're way busier than we ever dreamed of, and they make it work. But if we could build something bigger for them that they could really spread out, and we could push out more menus and feed more people to enjoy the restaurant, that would be great.
Yeah, we got to come through the kitchen today, and it's tiny in there. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna fit through here. I'm a big man, so
We have very good staff back there
We
that
do.
make it work. So
they were busting tail to get ready for service today, and I'm always impressed by that. That the people behind the scene, and that you guys give so much love to your staff here, and want to highlight them from your general manager to your general manager of the kitchen, your staff back there. You guys have raved about your staff here, and I can't say that enough about the owners and stuff, because some people take it too easy and say, "Oh, this is all me." Neither one of you did that at all, and I want to point that out to listeners. You want to come to get some humble pie here from these two right here. You got humble pie on the menu?
We should.
Yeah. Well, listeners, you stick with us. We're going to come back for the second half. You can see that Garrison Brothers right there. We're going to be sipping on. Stick with us. I'm going to tell you all about that Garrison Brothers right there and why it's so special. I even got something special from that in my house. We'll be right back. All right, listeners, we're back here for the second half. I got Rob and Amy here, the owners of the Rackhouse in the Colony here in North DFW. Lake Louisville back behind us is a backdrop. I don't know if it can get any better. What makes it better is I got great whiskey in my glass. I got some of this Garrison Brothers Balmore, a double oaked bourbon from Texas. It's got that signature Texas funk to it. Not too oaky though. I really love this, and it takes me back to my childhood of going to see the springs it's named after, that blue spring water. It's amazing. But as I'm sitting here in the half and we're kind of chatting, I'm looking around this room we're in. We're actually in a private room where they do events here, and you guys have thought about every detail, Amy, from the back of the bar or the front of the bar. It's covered in barrel staves. There's a giant mural over here of an old Kentucky rack house or rick house. People debate what it's called, a warehouse, whatever. I don't care what you call it. I don't care how you stack your barrels. As long as those barrels are full of great whiskey, that's all that matters.
That's right.
But then you got these chandeliers in here. You walk up the stairs to this place, and there's all these elaborate mirrors and stuff. It almost makes you feel like you're in a French palace.
Oh, yeah, Versailles.
Well, she loves the antique, so this is what got her to get me to go with her. Is we needed to find a bunch of gold mirrors that were antiques. So we've been all over Texas and Oklahoma, and when we'd find a store that had them, we would pretty much buy them out of the ones that we wanted. So
you even got bar stools from Three's Company, the TV show from the Regal Beagle over here. No, they fit perfectly.
Well, they're the right color, burnt orange. So.
Burnt orange, yeah, that is true. I never thought about that.
Yeah, I had to have something in here that.
Well, hey, we got a little story about Boomer Sooner, Gig and Maggie's, and
yeah, we're an equal opportunity. We love them all. So our family is separated through schools. I have an older son that was in the Corps, a daughter that was a cheerleader at OU. My youngest is at OU, and I'm the one that went to Texas. So we welcome everybody from all
But you
areas.
don't. You make them stay outside.
Well, they can't sit in the burnt orange chairs.
I would make them sit in it and say, especially the Aggies and Oklahoma this year, we tore them both up.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a good year.
We can't talk. You said we can't talk politics, so that gets a little political. I have the OU Sooners Club that comes up here, and we love them. So
We do.
they're some of the
As
best
long as
people.
as long as they'll drink whiskey. with you.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, that makes sense. You know, I noticed that you really, last night, I'm watching people talk and just observing everything that's going on around me and stuff. You're probably thinking, man, this guy, he can't keep his attention because I'm just looking all over the place. But I'm really trying to take in the vibe of the night and what people come here for. And what I got is that people come here to build community over a cocktail.
Right, which is what we were going for. It's, you want to have a place that you own and that everybody wants to be there. And why do they want to be here? Because they feel like it's their second home. And so that's why our Danny, our GM, he's got a gift with making people feel good. And I always told him, man, you're the heart of this place. And that's what we're trying to go for. And we're trying to get that, when people come here. So it doesn't always work. Sometimes we get bad reviews because it's just really hard to manage that. But that's the goal that we always get there. And we have a lot of regulars and a lot of people that have told us, hey, we really appreciate you really upgrading this spot because it's got such a unique history in the city. And it needed to be upgraded.
We were talking a little bit about reviews and stuff, and I'll tell you this. I've been doing this for a long time, and you're going to get a bad reviewer here or there. You're going to have some of those basement trolls that just say, hey, I don't like anything anybody does. And that's what they're going for, is shock and awe and stuff. I always say if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. But and I'm never saying I have never left a bad review. You got to push my buttons though
Right.
for me to live a bad review. But I'm at least going to tell you, hey, these are the things you should fix.
Oh yeah, we like to hear we like to hear when we haven't done something right, so we can fix it. And we try to reach out and talk to everybody. Now, I'm not saying we have pretty high reviews. I'm not trying to put out there that we don't, but we just want to be perfect.
Well, and I think it's more than being perfect. It's very personal for us, as you said earlier. Big Chief, you said, this is your baby and this is, y'all's love and it is. And we put every thought and we probably overthought everything. And did we miss some stuff? Yeah, we might have missed some stuff, and we definitely are going to come back and fix a few things and make it just that much better. But when someone doesn't have just a wonderful, glorious time here and they voice that, just like a host would have at your house, that takes you personally. You want to fix it and you feel bad that they didn't just have a fabulous time at the Rackhouse. Luckily for us, it doesn't happen very often, but when it does, we read the reviews and we respond to the reviews personally.
Trust me, I get that. I remember getting a review from a person that just ate me up and stuff that, I'm not going to be 100% perfect all the time and stuff, and I'm going to make mistakes. I'm going to say stuff that is probably wrong. Somebody might come back at me and say, that's not a double oak bourbon. It is. I'm telling you it is, because I've drank enough of it.
Well, if you tell me, I believe it.
I've drank 4 or 5 of these bottles by myself, and I just love these. Actually, Donis Todd from Garrison Brothers gave me a barrel, one of these barrels, and it's got blue top on it and stuff. Well, I took those barrels back to Kentucky and had a person that makes flags and stuff out of whiskey barrels, made it into a Texas flag, one for my brother and one for me. And that's like one of my cherished possessions now is that Texas flag, and it hangs over our bar at our house. And, I can see those touches. You keep telling me things that you want to change, and I'm like, man, you guys got a big list of changes. So you are going to renovate at some point.
Yeah, we're actually going to put something behind us. We have a whole acre behind us that we'd like to do something more of like an ice house feel. There's a really nice bar downtown Dallas, it's Katy Trail Ice House. That's another place people like to go hang out and just really enjoy the outdoors. And that we have the opportunity to do that here. But this is the engine that's going to make it all go. So this is the first of hopefully many, and we have to really perfect it as much as we can to make it, make the other things work. So this one has to do well, and we want it to do well.
And if I can find a way to get into another antique store and make him go antiquing with me, I'm going to figure that out.
Even your tables, I'm looking at the legs of the tables in here, are all kind of antique-y.
Yeah. Well, these tables were actually custom made by a company called Time Worn. out of, I think it was, did I find them in Maine or Vermont? It might be Vermont. We had these custom made and shipped in. The bottoms we found in Garland, I think, a company in Garland.
I kind of telling a story here, but I hunted on this property in Missouri when I was stationed there. I was stationed in St. Louis, and I met these people, the Coast Guard Auxiliary, and they offered me to hunt on their farm there. He's an equine dentist, like one of 5 in the nation. And she teaches like risk assessment and stuff. Well, they let me hunt on their property and stuff, and they were like, if you ever kill a deer, you could take care of it in the barn. And they take me in there, and they showed me where the keys to the gates are and stuff. And I walk in there, and there's like 100 pub tables in there, old oak pub tables.
I love that.
And I was like, what's the deal with all the pub tables and stools? And they were like, well, we used to own the Old Stonian in St. Louis, and it's the oldest tavern in Missouri, the Old Stonian there. And those pub tables were all out of there from like the 30s and 40s.
Do you have their number?
I do have their number. They were like, do you want one of them? And I was like, yes, I'd love to have one. We have that at our house today.
That's nice.
When I refinished it, and probably didn't do the best job, but there was probably 100 pieces of gum underneath that table. Just disgusting. But the old craftsmanship when I was taking it apart, and I was very gentle with it, well built, but it had the like old square nuts to holding it all together and stuff, and not a Phillips head, but a flathead screwdriver screws in it. And I was like, man, this thing was built back in the day when things were built right.
That's right. That's right.
So I love the antiquing thing. You have one of those old, I think they come out of like an upholstery factory, a fabric factory in North Carolina, of these big old, it's like a rail cart almost.
Yeah, it's called a lineman's cart. Rob and I were looking for a unique hostess stand. At one point we looked at and I know you said you want to talk about religion, but it was a pastor's pulpit. But we decided we wanted to go with something a little more gritty and rustic, and we found this old lineman's cart that somebody had retrofitted into a kitchen island. And so that's how when you come into the Rackhouse, you'll see the old lineman's cart that rolled down the line, and the pieces of the thing that was being built would roll on it.
And we like to think it was in a whiskey warehouse somewhere in Rackhouse.
That's right.
If you would have stacked 2 barrels on top of that thing and put a tabletop on there, you could have called it a barrel cart, and nobody would have known the difference.
Yeah, and the bar downstairs is also really unique, and I think Rob's really good at telling that story about that bar top, because he actually put that together with another partner of ours.
Yeah, a partner of ours came up with the idea to use train car wood, so it's the actual floor of a train, and we lined it up very specifically to make sure that all the scratches that were in there originally go all the way down the bar. So if you look at it, and you can see that's how it was. That's where it came from. So It's very unique.
It's beautiful.
I mean, even here, I'm looking back forward of us here, and you got a big giant cabinet in this room, kind of a giant buffet to help you guys serve people and stuff. But that looks like it's a custom piece as well.
Yeah, that is a custom piece, and Rob probably knows more about that.
That's made with the leftover train car wood that we didn't use on the bar. So that's actually that piece.
That's chew right there.
Yeah, it's really pretty, and definitely a showpiece. This room up here was used for attic storage, and everything you see in here was redone. We touched every single piece in here. The brick on the back wall, that is old Chicago Brick Company. They salvage old brick from old buildings that have been torn down, and so that's salvaged brick. It's beautiful. You got cedar everywhere. We've got white oak floors.
You guys really thought it out. You know, that mural, you had a pretty famous bourbon person in here. Yeah. You had Freddie Johnson from Buffalo Trace come in here for a meeting up here in this room,
right?
With a distribution group and some other folks. And what did he say about that mural?
So that's funny, because we were trying to figure out what to put on that wall, and you can find great pictures of rickhouses that look like, gives it some depth. So we put a big wallpaper picture of a really cool rickhouse, And Freddie came up here and he looked at it and he knew exactly what Rackhouse that was and what number and what floor. He goes, oh, that, and I forget what he said, but he goes, that's that one. And like, oh, there you go. We should have got him to sign it and we didn't think about it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty amazing. That number one, that he knows where. He grew up at. I don't know how much you know about him, but he kind of grew up at Buffalo Trace, and he does know those. He would talk about running through the warehouses as a little kid and stuff, and nobody would do that today. But back then,
right?
When Freddie grew up as kids, when we grew up as kids, we didn't grow up with cell phones. We didn't grow up with all that technology and stuff. Parents told you to get the hell out of the house and go chase fireflies. I can remember getting cable back in the.
It's a big deal.
It was a big deal because we went from like 3 TV stations to, I don't know, 20 or 30 with MTV on.
Yeah, I think I was the remote control for my dad. Get
up and change that channel.
He would say sport, go change it to channel 13, channel 2.
Now you guys are both raised and bred in Texas. You're from South Coastal Texas.
Well, I was born in Cuero, Texas, home of the Fighting Gobblers.
Fighting Gobblers.
A great football player, Jordan Whittington's from Cuero, Texas, and he played at the University of Texas a couple years back. He's playing in the NFL now. But I was raised in Bel Air, Texas, which is a city inside the loop of Houston.
And what about you?
Yeah, I was born south of her in Freeport, Texas, but Lake Jackson grew up. So I was the country boy, I guess, and she was the city girl.
We were actually talking about Freeport last night. And a band of heathens keep the wolves away, and it's kind of about that coastal Texas, the Chemical Row, Dow Chemicals and fires and accidents that happen in chemical plants. That's where we live at. You got to have it for what we do. Everything we wear is plastic. Almost. A lot of people don't think that. Going back to this bourbon, what do you get on this whiskey right here?
Well, I guess I need to try it.
Rob's like, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, Mike. You twisted my hand here.
Well, you didn't have to twist very hard. So. Yeah, that's a little smoother than the first one. I like it's got a little chocolatey taste to it. Very. I like it.
When I was talking about this before the show, listeners, I said this is that no-bake cookie. It's chocolatey notes, dark, rich, like cherry juice in this. I get a little bit of the oak tannin, but it's not over. Like you said, it's not over tannin. It's very viscous on the palate and stuff. It's got this long finish, well worth the money to me. And I gotta say, this bottle, because of the silverwork on it and stuff. It is one of the most sexy bottles in whiskey. It makes me think of a cowboy. It makes me think of Texas, and that's the reason I love them. A lot of people hate on them a little bit. They say they're overpriced or this or that. But if you're a Texan, you want a Texas whiskey bottle on your shelf, and support your local community. You're from high Texas, from the hill country there, buy this. Now, talking about supporting the hill country, a couple weeks ago, a lot of people know that there was the floods in Kerr County, around the hill country. It wasn't just Kerr County. Kerr County took the biggest brunt of it, and a lot of lives lost there. They're still searching for people. But you guys actually helped out with that, and there's efforts still going out to support that. What charity did you guys work with?
Well, Rob actually brought my attention to it. He said, Amy, I think I woke up was it on Friday morning? And you said, are you paying attention to what's going on in the hill country? And I said, no, what's going on? And he said, there's some massive flooding. And, I kind of brushed it off and said, well, there's flooding down there all the time. And as the day progressed, we didn't have plans on 4th of July this year. We decided to take it easy because, the restaurant takes a lot of time. So we were taking it easy. And as we were going through the day, it was, becoming worse situation. And, really pulled at our heartstrings. I think by Sunday, I had gone to Rob and said, Rob, we got to do something. I mean, we have a vehicle that brings people together, and we should do something with that, with our community. And so I reached out to some local officials. We have some contacts at the city. We've got some contacts at the Visitor Bureau. Asked them to post that we wanted to do a fundraiser, and I think in the Observer, because we're fond of the Observer because they've been good to us, but found that they had recommended Mercy Chefs, and I said, I looked it up. They were rated very high on the charity meter, and what they were doing down in the hill country is you've got all the volunteers and you've got HEB going down there with the food, but who's going to cook and prepare that food and actually serve it to people? And that's where they fill that void. And so we decided to do a fundraiser for Mercy Chefs, and then within probably 30 minutes of posting it on social media on Sunday night, local band here, the Alley Cats of the Colony, very good band. And we don't even get to have them play here that much. We have a lot of great artists, but they just stepped up right away and said, we want to help, no charge. We want to come out and provide entertainment for your charity fundraiser. And so it just evolved from there, and we had a really great turnout. Community really showed up here in the Colony, and we really appreciated that.
And a lot of the other restaurants around are doing the same thing. So it's like, it's not a lot, but if everybody's doing a little bit, it all adds up. So and we all grew up going down the Guadalupe River as kids. That's just, it's really heartbreaking to even think about.
That was where my senior trip was.
Me too. My senior year, we stayed at New Braunfels.
Schlitterbahn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some good memories there with some Strawberry Hill.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Before you had money.
Yeah. I'll never buy a bottle of that today. We'll do some quick fire questions real fast, but if you're a listener out there and you want to give to Mercy Chefs, check them out online. There's always going to be another tragedy. There's always going to be events that people need help, and those volunteers, they need a place to eat at. Those people that have lost their homes, they need a place to eat at, and that's what Mercy Chefs provides. They go in there and cook for them when they don't have a kitchen, they don't have a place to eat, and they get great meals for it. So check out Mercy Chefs, and whenever the Rackhouse up here in the Colony has something like that, come and give. You might not be able to give your time to an event like that or travel down there, but events like that help out more than you really do know. So I implore you to check out Mercy Chefs, check out a charity. Like you said, they rated high on the charity meter, so that's important stuff. You want to make sure the money is going to the right place.
Right.
So a couple quick fire questions. Why the name The Rackhouse?
Well, obviously because it's a whiskey-themed restaurant, and it was a debate on Rickhouse or Rackhouse, and, we landed on Rackhouse, and I don't know exactly, we probably should not everybody knows what a Rackhouse is or a Rickhouse, so a lot of people think we're barbecue or a pool hall, so we've decided maybe we need to put on the little bit bigger letters on the front that it's a whiskey bar, Rackhouse. So, but it was just it just fit for the whole theme.
And there was a debate on what color to paint the outside.
Oh yeah, there was a heated debate.
Not with me. I agreed with her.
Prior to us changing the paint color, it was prison gray. And I was like, we can't keep it that color. And I immediately wanted to paint it some kind of white. Some of the guys didn't really like the idea of going white. And as we started looking, I started looking on the internet to try to convince them, because that's what I like to do, is try to sell people my vision, do it my way. And I found Jim Beam's main visitor building had just been renovated. Jim Beam, the largest distributor and distiller, I think they're number one in the world of bourbon whiskey. Lo and behold, it was a white building with a logo painted on, and I said, oh my gosh, that's it.
Actually, when you drive into the gates of Jim Beam, our friends live, I'm a good buddy that you hear the music on his podcast, Steve Johnson, that's him playing the guitar. He lives just across the road from Jim Beam. His next door neighbor worked there. And when you drive in there, he's actually got this 68 Camaro. It's a beautiful car. And he parked it in front of when you drive in there, off to the right-hand side, there's a big old Jim Beam barn, old tobacco barn and stuff that Jim Beam has kept up, and they got their logo on it. So that's what most people think of Jim Beam, is that barn, that iconic photo. They get out there and take a photo of themselves in front of that barn and stuff. But now you go to the steel house there, and it is all painted white. The original house is there, and the well's there, and it is just beautiful. And I think you hit the nail on the head with the concept of that. So wrapping up here, we're going to talk about a giveaway. You guys offered up a giveaway. What do you guys got for a listener?
Yeah, so whoever gets it, I mean, we're doing a $100 gift certificate to come see us at the Rackhouse. Hopefully, if you're out of town and you're in Dallas, you come see us. We're next to Frisco. Most people know where Frisco is. We're right up against Frisco. So that's, and then we'll give a couple of these Glencairns out that we have.
So if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we're going to make this for the Dallas-Fort Worth area so somebody can come up here and pick the gift card up from the Rackhouse themselves. On Instagram, I want you to actually last week's was on Instagram. Let's do Facebook for you guys. Let's get you a little bit of Facebook love. On Facebook, on the post, on stuff there, I want you to tag the Rackhouse.
And it's Rackhouse TX.
So Rackhouse TX.
Rackhouse TX on Facebook, on the post with these two mugs right here. You'll see the episode. Tag that, and then I want you to tag 4 friends on there telling them about the episode so they can learn about it. But you got to be in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, whether you're a bourbon group. Share it with your bourbon group. Share it with your friends that are whiskey drinkers and stuff, and get them to experience that. That's what I want to do this giveaway. A $100 gift card, that's going to get you one badass meal here, maybe a good pour of whiskey or a great pour of whiskey, and then you'll get a amazing sunset for free. And you never can tell. Maybe these 2 jokers right here will have dinner with you.
If you want. I don't know why you would, but
that's an event for you. Okay,
That's
last fire questions, because I know you guys got to set this room up for an event you're having. Quick fire questions. If you could add one thing to the menu that you hadn't added to it, what would you add?
I think the menu's great. I really can't think of one thing. Probably tabbouleh? I don't know. I'm kind of healthy.
no.
What about you, Rob?
Maybe the humble pie that you talked about earlier.
Big Chief's humble pie.
Right, there you go.
There you go.
We want to do a nice fillet at some point, but we got to really dial in
I
the
do
steak, so make sure that we know how to cook
a
them.
Big Chief tomahawk steak.
There you go.
That sounds
would
pretty
be good.
good, actually.
That scares me, though.
Big bourbon chief tomahawk steak right there. I guarantee you sell a lot of that.
Well, be
Okay.
careful what you ask for.
I'd put my signature on that right there.
There you go.
Well, I can't thank you two enough for giving a giveaway. You got to be 21 years old and you got to reside in the United States to win that giveaway. I'm going to announce that at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time the Monday after this comes out. So make sure you're tagging those friends on there. You want to post a photo. If you've been to the Rackhouse, you'll get a bonus if you post a photo of yourself at the Rackhouse here in the colony with that. So you get a bonus for that. Okay. So 1 week that giveaway is going to go on, and then I'll announce the winner, and then you come and pick it up from Rob here and Amy. And I think you're going to love this place. Best bourbon bar in Dallas-Fort Worth, and quite possibly the best bourbon bar in all the state of Texas. Not saying a lot. So I want them to build these all around Texas, though. So I'm trying to get them to.
Well, we appreciate it.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
Any last words for the listeners?
No, I really appreciate everybody tuning in, and we hope to see you out here at the Rackhouse.
The same way. We want everybody to be happy and come out here and enjoy it.
Okay, so where do we find you guys on social media?
Okay, so we are on TikTok. We're on Instagram and Facebook at the Rackhouse TX. And we're also on the web at Rackhouse TX.
Well, awesome. I love it. And what are your hours every day?
We're open till 10 o'clock Sunday through Thursday, and we're open until midnight on Friday and Saturday. We have a great brunch on Saturday and Sunday, so we open up at 10 a.m., and we have the chicken fried steak and eggs.
Yeah,
There you
chicken
go.
fried steak and eggs. Man, that's amazing right there. That's like as Texan as you could get. If you put some ranch style beans with it, man, we got a meal.
Well, hopefully you're hungry.
Look at the size of me. I'm always hungry. Well, I can't thank you two enough for letting me come into your house and doing this show. I really appreciate it. Listeners, you know where you can find Old Big Chief. You can find me at The Whiskey Trip on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube now. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Become a follower. Become a subscriber. I really love it. On Apple Podcasts, I hope you're listening to Matt and Mark from The Bourbon Life. give them a listen. If you enjoy what you're listening to, make sure you give us that 5-star review and comments. Those 5-star comments, those reviews, you could pop those over on my Facebook page too. It'd really help me out. And then when you do that, that helps open up doors to distilleries, gets great guests on my show like Rob and Amy from the Rackhouse here in the Colony. That's what I really want. I want to bring you great content. I want to bring you to destinations around the United States, around the world, so you can have a great experience like I do. I really appreciate it. This is Old Big Chief, and thanks for taking this ride with me.